Hey everybody, welcome to Tuesday, and as promised, I'm gonna talk Black Widow. I saw it Sunday night. I've determined, long story short, it was meh-kay. Halfway between meh and okay. Overall, it wasn't a bad movie. Parts of it pissed me off. Parts of it I thought were well done. Parts of it I thought were well acted, but not well edited or necessarily directed. It has some of the hallmarks of what makes the Marvel Cinematic Universe films so enjoyable. It also has all the bad habits of these movies. And I don't know how they managed to do it all in this movie. I think that because they were playing catch up, they may have overthought it and underthought it at the same time. But the opening action sequence in the past in 1995 is fun for what it is. The Bourne movie car chase through the streets of Budapest. Was it Budapest or Monaco? But anyway, those were okay. It was about what you expect. Some of the continuity editing was rough, and I noticed it at the time. I'm like, oof, some really great stunt work where there were a couple of falls, a couple of like practical stunts, and I'm like, oh, did they get up from that? Yeah, they're moving. It was there were a couple of really good, like, visceral, hardcore, believable fights between Black Widow and this new character, Yelena, who's the new Black Widow going forward, which is not a spoiler. That was in all the write-ups about it and everything like that. Then the end, big action CGI bonanza. It's pretty great. It's ridiculous, but it's pretty great. It was everything in the 45 minutes to an hour between those two that was not so great, including a helicopter rescue action scene, which should have been fun, but there was obvious CGI in the wrong places and some odd edits and forced banter that kind of took me out of it. That's the no spoilers part. I'll get into spoilers now for the people that are interested and have already seen the movie or aren't going to see the movie and just want to know what the hell was going on so they can talk about it. Yes, there are people out there like that because they're exhausted by the samey that's going on. And I can understand why. The biggest issue I had, I mean, let's start ripping the Band-Aid off. In other post-Infinity War Marvel shows, they have done away with or recontextualized some particularly bad Joss Whedon stuff. They did not do that in Black Widow. They kept Black Widow's superpower being not that she's very smart, not that she's a spy, not that she's like this super duper special trained special agent. No, her superpower is when she seems the most out of control, is when she's secretly in control, and then she turns the tides on some conveniently misogynistic bad guy, usually through some form of mental, emotional, or physical self-harm. That's alive and well in this fucking movie. And it really didn't work, in part because the reason for the helplessness was a particular pet peeve pseudoscience thing of mine involving pheromones, but also the fact that she severed the nerve that causes her to smell with a headbutt that was surprisingly bloodless. I guess she was supposed to break her own nose, but it didn't really bleed. It was like, here's why I have the issue with woman is being manhandled and abused or seemingly removed of free will, but is secretly in control. It's rape culture. It's her mouth is saying no, but her eyes are saying yes. Um, she didn't really mean no. And you might think I'm overreacting, but keep in mind, this is the Joss Whedon thing, remember? The guy who insisted he was just powerless with all these young women. They were the ones, the actresses that worked, they were really the ones in control. He was powerless, even though he was the one that was abusing his power and was the guy who could hire and fire them. No, they were secretly in control. The root of this theory is, I think it's inherently misogynistic. I can understand why people disagree. However, it did come, or was at least, the pin was stuck in it the most by a guy who is a bona fide misogynist. I don't think that's up for debate anymore. Joss Whedon's a scumbag the same way Bill Cosby's a scumbag, right? Just too many reports for it to not be true. You can't separate one from the other when you're talking about whether this is actually heroic. I mean, through so much of the movie, they are, remember we talked about the not awesome box? They're not awesome boxing Natasha Romanoff, making fun of her superhero poses, which would have been, it is fine in character for Yelena. I'm good with it being a character voice point that she thought it was silly. But I don't agree that Black Widow's superhero poses were any more or less ridiculous than any of the guys. I mean, Spider-Man does the same goddamn pose, right? And nobody suggests that Spider-Man's doing it because he thinks everybody's looking at him. Like I said, I accept it as a character point. I would have liked it if the movie balanced that out a little more on the other end of some reason that it's okay to like that stuff as well as not like that stuff, because, you know, this is also a movie that defines Natasha Romanoff as a murderer that little girls want to be when they grow up. Buzzkill, Marvel. I don't know why Marvel feels the need to repudiate characters in that way in this wave, other than the fact that they're trying to de-Whedon everything. But I thought that went too far. Natasha Romanoff is not just a murderer. Natasha Romanoff is someone who wasn't in control of her life and made some very difficult choices to get back in control of her life, do something that was worthwhile, and then was done dirty by Marvel continuity. So for her big send-off to define her as a murderer who little girls look up to, that's not all she is. And again, if you want to make that a character point for Yelena and it be a back and forth, I'm good with that. I just wish the movie pushed back on it a little more than they did. Similarly, there was too much going on. This should have been if there was ever a time to awesome box a character, not only make her do awesome things, but have other people. She's awesome. She was the first female Avenger before Captain Marvel. Again, I thought that movie was meh. But before Captain Marvel, Black Widow was the one that didn't get her own friggin' movie, and there wasn't even any rights things like the Hulk. They just thought that people wouldn't see superhero movies with a female lead. I still don't get that. Again, misogyny, but if you're just smart enough and tough enough and are willing to suffer enough, you can overcome it, girls. Anyway, the movie can't decide whether it wants to be a deconstruction or an awesome send-off. It doesn't know whether it wants to be a passing of the torch or a celebration of a character. It doesn't know whether it wants to be a main character, let's finally let her be front and center, or whether it wants to be an ensemble cast with this weird, The Americans style family that was riddled with so many unnecessary complexities that I was just, by the end of the movie, I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I don't really care. I really like Rachel Weisz. I really like the guy who's also in Stranger Things, who's playing Red Guardian in this. I don't know why they decided to go with Red Guardian being Black Widow's like adoptive father, but for only 3 years. But it's the only family she ever knew. 3 years is not really like it was just like, what? It's like they rewrote it a million times and didn't lost track of all the stuff they were adding and taking away. Rachel Weisz was really good with what she had to do. The character was all over the place, like cruel and sadistic one moment, super caring and altruistic the next, and I was like, it was just back and forth. It never gelled into a sense of who this character was. And then we get Red Guardian, who was legitimately funny, but overused. Another major problem with these Marvel films is one character dominating because he's funny to the detriment of the movie. So it becomes a collection of enjoyable moments that don't work as a whole. We didn't need the story of his father urinating on his hands to prevent hypothermia. I would have preferred more Black Widow, because Black Widow wasn't even involved in that scene. It was, more Natasha Black Widow, not Yelena Black Widow. But now it kind of doesn't matter because there's apparently millions and millions and millions of Black Widows. And I admit that part I didn't buy. That was the part where the movie legit lost me. That the program post 1995 is allegedly some sort of Soviet thing. They don't reference Hydra or any other organization. It's this, Russian, allegedly dead, oligarch or something like that, operating from the shadows. The Russian economy is not big enough to fund a high attrition, super spy mind control program. They just, with all the blah, blah, blah about free will and the hypothalamus and the Winter Soldier program and pheromones and all that stuff, they didn't convince me that this guy had the bankroll to do this. And I'm sure somebody has a headcanon explanation for it. It just lost me. I never like it when they take a character that is special and make them weapon 10, right? Like Wolverine goes from weapon X to weapon 10. I'm like, fuck, man. All right. I'm just going to wipe that from my memory bank. No, it's staying. I'd be fine if there was a couple dozen over the years. Fine with that in, you know, important places it could really screw up the world. But when that map lit up and they're like all over the place, and what was it? They killed like numerous girls to get ones that, you know, were accepted, were appropriate, not defective in some way. It's like, it just misogyny, giant misogyny all over the world. And it's like, holy shit. Like, I don't believe it anymore. Right? I don't believe that many girls could go missing and no one would notice or ask questions. Maybe. Oh, I accidentally turned my mic. See, I'm so mad I turned my mic off. Maybe I'm wrong, you know, but I don't think so. This was post 95. There's the internet. There's Facebook. People don't just disappear. And like, based on the racial makeup of these girls, they were pulling them from all over the world. Like, what the shit? Overdone. Way overdone. And instead of making him seem like a big bad, I'm just like, this is stupid. You know, if they'd had, you know, 12 to 20 successful test subjects, and that meant 100 girls died, that's, oh my God, that's awful. The scale of the systemized, like, murder, I call bullshit, right? Like, that's not fun. That's not a good action movie. That's just redonkulous hyperbole that was allegedly going on while, like, after Civil War and before Infinity War, and nobody noticed? Come on. Like, the fuck? I'm belaboring this. I just found it grotesque. I don't know why somebody thinks that's a good idea. That, again, is another... The movie was trying to make a statement about misogyny. But what it really did was normalize it in a lot of ways and suggest that if you're strong and smart enough, you can overcome it, ladies. And that's not how... They're mind controlled. It's not just be strong and smart. Like, it's a bunch of male executives and a male scriptwriter not understanding how it works because they've never lived under it. They're like, this is cool to me, instead of, and I guess the director, or I guess Scarlett Johansson themselves would be like, could have gone like, nah, this isn't working. But one, actors aren't like that. Two, I'm sure Scarlett Johansson was just happy to finally front a movie. You're not going to fight too much. You can only fight so many battles, right? And clearly she lost the battle over that white suit, which, holy shit, was an unflattering, ridiculous monstrosity with uncomfortable looking hip belts. I was just staring at... It wasn't properly... it didn't have proper seaming in it. It wasn't properly made. It was unflattering. And I don't know why they didn't smooth it out with CGI, since there was so much CGI in the rest of the movie. And maybe they were making a statement of, oh, real woman. But I'm like, oh, man. Like, she wouldn't... The belt was so low, it would have restricted her movement. And, you know, you got Yelena and her comfy vest origins, like Black Widow origin vest story. Like, vest origin story. Sorry. Cute, But, eh. I haven't mentioned Taskmaster yet. And this is the last thing I'm going to bring out because I know this is a big point of contention based on what people said to me before I saw the movie. I'm torn because, yes, it is Taskmaster's powers. Yes, it is essentially the Taskmaster costume and kind of a cool take on the Taskmaster costume. I didn't mind the look of it. But you're taking, again, a character that has an eidetic memory and is like in control of their own stuff. Misogyny zombie, right? Like that's what Taskmaster is in this movie, a misogyny zombie. Like, Guy is such a misogynist that he mind controlled his own gravely injured daughter and turned her into a weapon. Do I believe there are people who are so sick out there that would do that? Sure. That would have been enough to show the guy was bad dude, right? But the thing the movie was missing was any woman who went along with it for selfish reasons as opposed to just being forced to. And I found that less interesting because the reality is that sexist systems are propped up by women. Now you could say the mom, the Rachel Weisz character, was kind of that, but not really. You discovered more and more she didn't really have that many options. I don't know how they managed the pheromone block with Black Widow before they stole the Winter Soldier stuff. Maybe they did it to her. See, it was so complicated. I'm like, I'm not following this. Can somebody just please be a spy who's maybe like a bad person and also female? Not all the women are good, only mind controlled, and all the men are bad or like drunken dipshits. Loki agrees. It was just, this was not a movie to make a point. This was a movie to talk about how awesome Black Widow was. Natasha Romanoff, Black Widow. They got so into the Me Too weeds that they missed the opportunity to just make her awesome. I would have preferred the movie be Natasha Romanoff, Yelena, Taskmaster, find out at the last minute the guy she thinks she killed was behind the whole thing. Like, focus on her guilt, killing the little girl for her own freedom, right? Have that be the big bad. Discover 2/3, 3/4 of the way through the movie that there's, wahaha bad dude behind the scenes, and they have to go in and kill him. No stupid pheromone blocks. The reason he's hard to kill is people don't know he's alive. He doesn't need any of this other stuff. That was multiple bridges too far. Just, he's a bad dude. Now we know he's there. Kill him. Redeem Taskmaster. Rescue a few dozen girls. Because now there are more Black Widows than Dora Milaje. Like, what the fuck? Like, nobody, there are more superpowered people in the Marvel universe just running around now. I'm starting to think Thanos had a point. Oh my God, we need a cull of like half of this stuff. It's just too hard to keep track of. That was a joke, by the way. But a simpler story that allowed for more banter and more character development and a real opportunity for Scarlett Johansson to shine in that role, because she's a much better actress than she's ever allowed to be in that part. That would have been better than the mishmash of required Disney U-shaped boxes that happened in that movie. What do I mean by that? There's always a mom character, a dad character, a character boys like, and a character girls like. Now, the mom character, the dad character doesn't mean a mom and a dad necessarily, but it's the character the dads can see themselves in, the characters the moms can see themselves in, the character little boys like, which in this case is Black Widow. She's a superhero, right? And then the character girls can relate to. They have to have that in every Disney movie. The problem with that is that I don't know of anybody that's gonna have a problem. The dads are gonna like, the pretty lady in tight leather suits, but the moms are gonna like her if she's a good character. We went to the drive-in to see this, and the double feature, like the second film was Cruella, and my husband and I both liked Cruella better than Black Widow because it was a defined character. It was a smaller cast. We could follow what was going on, even though it was inherently innately silly. But the characters got the opportunity to be characters, and by the end of the movie, you were pretty sure you knew who the characters were, and it was up to you what you thought about who the characters were. There weren't awesome boxes and not awesome boxes. It's like, these are very complex and kind of psychotic people. It is The Devil Wears Prada with Cruella de Vil, and there was nothing wrong with that, right? If Black Widow had basically been a Bourne movie, but with Black Widow, that would have been fine. I didn't need Black Widow to have a family. I didn't want Black Widow to have a family. I admit, one of the things I like about the Natasha Romanoff character before the Marvel Cinematic Universe is she wasn't mopey about her past. There were parts of it that disturbed her because of what she did. But I mean, the big fuck moment was, I have no uterus, I'm a monster, and Yelena was way cooler about it. She grosses people out describing the process, which I'm like, yeah, girl. Like, I'm looking forward to more of her just because she's more like Natasha Romanoff. And granted, okay, the character's been written for so many years. There are numerous interpretations. This is not consistent. But the things I like the best is when Natasha Romanoff is just a competent, ruthless, get the job done professional who still has a soul. Because that's interesting. That it's not whiny. It's appropriate for the kind of job she does. That is a defined character as opposed to what has happened to Black Widow over the years, where they fumbled around for like 5 movies, finally got a sense of who she was in Civil War. I think it was Civil War. The one where she was really interested in Captain America's personal life. I thought, like, okay, this is cool. This is a character moment, right? And then, of course, she's just damaged goods in Infinity War. And it's like, well, now she's back to being an embodiment of womanhood again instead of being an individual character. And unfortunately, her standalone send-off movie did that to her again. It wasn't a Black Widow movie. It was a post-Me Too female protagonist movie. And I think that's ultimately why it was disappointing. They had one job. Make a Black Widow is awesome movie. And they didn't make that movie. They made a mix of stuff based on a Disney formula that is getting longer and longer in the tooth. This felt more like an ensemble movie than those really great single character origin movies that launched, phase 1 and phase 2 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the thing that everything was built on. Movies with their own point and vision and voice and character. We're going to have to see whether Shang-Chi or the Eternals is going to be Ensemble. So, I mean, what else is there? I guess the save, the closer is going to be Thor Love and Thunder. Because they got to figure something out now. They got to break the formula. And I mean, that might be the one, that might be the one to do it. I don't know. I hope. I'm still hoping. I'm forgetting the other one they're launching. I probably gonna like Spider-Man. Holding out hope with Doctor Strange, but the first Doctor Strange movie wasn't great, so we'll see. We'll see. God knows Fast and the Furious has been coasting on perfectly acceptable action fare for a bazillion movies. Disney can do it too. We just all know the Marvel team can do better. And I think everybody's wondering, why aren't they? So if you like this sort of thing, help support this channel, become a monthly patron, patreon.com/LeannaK. Boss fight update coming Friday. Thanks for watching.